Wondering what you thought of the comments and whether you considered them to be racist.
I think Canadians and indeed people around the world know exactly what I think about those particular comments. That is not how we do things in Canada. A Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian, and the diversity of our country is actually one of our greatest strengths and a source of tremendous resilience and pride for Canadians, and we will continue to defend that.
Well, that's Justin Trudeau. I guess it's pretty clear he doesn't expect Donald Trump to help him get our hostages back from China. He takes the opportunity to virtue signal about Trump's tweets. What tweets is he talking about? Well, let me read them to you because I don't think you're going to see them verbatim in most newscasts, because if you just listen to the CBC or any American network, they sound horrific. But let me read them to you because I don't think you'll see them on the news. So interesting to see progressive Democrat congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt and inept anywhere in the world, if they even have a functioning government at all, now loudly and viciously telling the people of the United States, the greatest and most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run. Why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came? Then come back and show us how it's done. These places need your help badly. You can't leave fast enough. I'm sure that Nancy Pelosi would be very happy to quickly work out free travel arrangements. 3 tweets in a row yesterday, obviously referring in the main to Ilhan Omar, the Somali American congresswoman from Minnesota who trashes America at every chance, Somalia, of course, being a failed state. I thought they were provocative comments, but certainly not racist, and they spoke the truth about the nature of Somalia and the ingratitude of Omar. But they have been called racist by everyone, including by Justin Trudeau. Joining us now from Breitbart headquarters in California is our friend Joel Pollak, senior editor-at-large. Joel, were these comments racist, as the mainstream media and Justin Trudeau seem to suggest?
No, I don't think so. And I think that it requires some interpretation and spin to declare them racist. I'm not sure that I would have put things the way he did because of the opportunity that his political opponents have to misinterpret what he was saying. But certainly as regards Omar, I think he merely gave voice to what many Americans are thinking. And in fact, today on Monday, the president hosted a Made in America summit at the White House, and the audience applauded his defense of his tweets, saying, if you don't like the United States, you can leave. You can come back if you want. But if you don't like it here, and he referenced her specifically, if you come from Somalia, a country that is failing, and you come here and you complain all the time, you can simply leave. And that is not an unusual sentiment in American politics. And I think he actually has touched a nerve. Now, for Democrats, they're seeing this as the confirmation of everything they've said about him, that he's racist and so forth. But in order to believe he's a racist, number one, you have to overlook what they have been saying and what they said even as recently as Sunday. One of the 4 members of the Squad, the left-wing group of progressive Democrats that he referred to today and that Pelosi has been attacked by the way, they called her a racist as well. One of the 4 who was born in Chicago, a congresswoman from Boston, she went out yesterday and said that she's tired of seeing black faces, those are her words, and no more black faces who are not black voices. In other words, if you're black, you can only have one political opinion. It must be on the left. And she doesn't want to see you if you have a different opinion. So they can go out and say absolutely racist things, explicitly racist, but somehow the president is a racist for insinuating that the group of left-wing Democrats that has been attacking him, and has been attacking Pelosi, and that he was attacked by, is from another country. Now, it's incorrect to say that Ayanna Pressley, that's the last representative I was referring to, is from another country. And the kind of phrase, go back where you came from, has been associated with racism. But that's not all he said. He said, go back and come back. Mm-hmm. Once you've solved the problems over there, come back. It's an off-color remark in a sense, but it's not racist. It basically is how many Americans feel, of all colors and many different backgrounds, about those who come to this country, take its wealth for granted, take the opportunities for granted, and then tell us how terrible this place is. Yeah. That's Ilhan Omar, that's Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, and that's Rashida Tlaib. And Ayanna Pressley, people don't know very well, but she certainly hasn't contributed in a positive way to this, nor has Pelosi. Pelosi came out and said that Trump wants to make America white again. So it's actually his opponents who are using explicit references to race. He didn't say anything explicitly about race. They're making it about race in the same way that they tried to make it about race when Pelosi criticized them. Pelosi said that these four, she called them the squad, are irrelevant. They only count for their own votes. They don't affect anything that happens in Congress. They accused her of racism for singling out, this is a quote, singling out women of color. Well, it's not her fault they're women of color. What she's talking about is their radicalism. She's not talking about their race. And that's the same thing with Trump. Now, he was mistaken in that only one of the four was actually born in another country. Two of the four are first-generation immigrants, who, by the way, never tire of telling us that. And, you know, that's something I think that does have to play into this, because the countries they come from, Rashida Tlaib has her roots in the Palestinian Authority, and the other is Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. She's from the United States, but she's from Puerto Rico, and also talks about that. These are not well-run places. The Palestinian Authority is a basket case. Puerto Rico is in the midst of a corruption scandal, also a basket case. Now their government is busy resigning. These are not well-run places. So to come to this country, and in Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's case, to come from Puerto Rico to the mainland, if you want to complain about how things are here, one ought to do so, I think, with some degree of humility, in the sense that they are better than where your family was before. That's how I feel. I mean, I'm actually an immigrant. My family comes from South Africa. And I feel grateful every day for this country. And I would not choose to go back. In fact, I did go back after college, and I worked in South Africa. And I discovered many things about America that I loved that I didn't realize I had taken for granted when I was working in South Africa.
That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant show. Every day, I do a video monologue, and then I interview an interesting guest. And then I end by reading my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at therebel.media/shows.